here, Psychotherapist. Today, let's have a chat about you and about human mind. How are we processing emotions? What are the struggles and the challenges in everyday life of a human being? And we are really experts in how it feels to be human being. This is, you know, those emotions, including great ones and also emotions that we don't love. They are an experience that we sometimes do or don't want to have. Of course, everyone is seeking those great emotions, but sometimes those hardships and hard times in our lives have maybe helped us to realize how strong we are or how much we're capable of like enduring. So, hi everyone. If you would like to share something from your life today, you're very welcome. Feel free to do so in the comment section down below. Hi everyone who is joining. Let's start with overwhelm. What kind of emotions do you have, feelings when you are overwhelmed? How do you recall yourself feeling when you have this sense of overwhelm? With overwhelm, oftentimes comes also overstimulation. So you feel that things are just getting out of proportion. You are feeling how your heart rate increases, your heart is racing, your thoughts are racing. There are some certain bodily sensations. Maybe your hands are very cold, maybe clammy, maybe you have this cold sweat. So, this is also or can be energy of fear. And hi, everyone who is joining. If people want to share any kind of emotions or feelings that they have recently been going through, maybe emotions that have been specifically hard for them to deal with, to process, that would be much appreciated. It's always nice for us to have this like a dialogue rather than just me talking. It's always nice to have you contributing into this live stream, into the podcast that I have recently created. So, thank you so much for being part of it. Overwhelm comes with a lot of overstimulation, a lot of what do I do? How do I shake this off? This feeling, this sometimes like almost like a tsunami of emotions. Do you or are you good when dealing with your overwhelm? I think ideal self or in perfect scenario, as we grow older and wiser, hopefully, we become more and more aware of how to deal with our emotions, including the overwhelm. Also, you can see examples of people who are, maybe we may say, emotionally immature adults, such as it seems like the emotional dysregulation for them happens more often than to other people. And that could be because of other aspects. Maybe they are neurodivergent person, and it doesn't always mean that neurodivergent person would be, I don't know, more dysregulated or something, but neurodiversity is about how person is processing information, right? So sometimes with neurodiversity comes certain aspects of overstimulation more than in neurotypical people, right? Um, Overwhelm. may happen anywhere to anyone, whether you are neurotypical or neurodivergent. But how do we deal? What do we do when we are overwhelmed? Sometimes people like to step out, just like a little bit of flight or fight or freeze, where they just kind of freeze, and they may resort to the flight, remove themselves from the situation, right? Now, you're most welcome to subscribe to my channel to see my other podcast, cat shorts for sure, but podcast episodes is what I wanted to say. I like doing the podcast as I'm live streaming so that you can actually jump in, share on the comments, so it can be more interactive. And I'm also pre filming some of the episodes of the podcast as well. So you'll be seeing more. And today I have uploaded a podcast episode that I have pre filmed. So feel free to have a look into that. Overwhelm may come and go, and you may see the patterns that it's happening at a certain maybe time of the day. Maybe you're getting very overwhelmed before you're going to sleep. Maybe you're like, damn, yeah, why am I so like all over the place? Why am I feeling so overstimulated? Or what's happening to me? Why is it always happening before I'm going to bed? Well, maybe something actually have happened to you in the evenings of your life. Maybe there was any traumatic events before in your life. So have a think. In Hi everyone. Hi. In human lives, our lives, a lot of times there is some sort of like memory, it could be sort of encoded in your body, the memory itself, and you kind of in your mind may not be fully aware of it, but your body has certain reactions. So do you remember of, or do you know that feeling that your body knows? Peter Levine wrote a book that's called The Body Remembers. Yeah. Peter Levine and Babette Rothschild. Now I'm like, who wrote that book? Either of them for sure. But Peter Levine wrote other books. I don't want to quote anything right now. Um, yeah. I'm being asked, how are you? So how am I keeping? I'm keeping well. How about yourself? How's things on your side? I think when we're saying I'm keeping well, or when I'm saying that at this moment in time right now, I'm not too bad. Everything is going well. This morning, I was working with some of the graphics, like the thumbnails, and then the other aspects of the videos, such as you have to write descriptions, the titles, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was working on that a little bit. It can get overwhelming. It can get overwhelming, really. I don't know if you have any experience with kind of similar line of things, but I think that we all have, and for sure we all have like strong parts and parts of our job that we feel like, it's my least favorite, or I don't like it, or this makes me feel overwhelmed, right? So, yeah, it's nice when you've done it, but when you're going through it, you're figuring things out, you're kind of like, have to figure lots of bits and pieces, like what's the size of this, what's the resolution of this, what's the right way to do it, and you want to do it right or teach yourself how to do it right from early stages early on so you can carry on as you mean it. So we have Jasmine, who asks how I'm keeping. Jasmine is saying that I'm feeling good about herself. And how did you come about my live stream? Did you have you joined my channel before? Is it the first time for you? And how is the audio? Always good to hear from yourselves about the quality, because that's one of the things you're, trying for people to have a good experience. And everything is kind of one step at a time, one day at the time. Nobody was born knowing. And I think this is kind of a motivation for all of us. I feel like I'm this kind of renaissance person with my growth here, really. But I'll just embrace it. Do you know, or have you ever read that if you're smiling, it sends the signals to your brain almost like to feel better? So let's all try to, one little smile at a time, but not from the point of view of like toxic positivity, but from the point of view that let's test this theory. Do we actually feel a little bit more like happy when we have the smile on our face? Thank you so much for all the kind words. Appreciate it. Yes. So the weather in Ireland today is good. It's sunny, the birds are chirping, things are looking good. What about yourselves? Where are you? What's the weather like? And have you gotten up to much yet today, or maybe your day is just starting off? A little while ago, before I drank all my water, I talked about sensory overwhelm, overload. What is the sensory stuff for you that, like, you can see that overwhelm, something that could be sounds, it could be certain tastes or textures, could be certain weather conditions like rain or anything like that, or sun. Actually, fun fact that too much sun can also feel actually overwhelming, if anything. Let me know in the comments. Nothing calms your nervous system better than slowing down, allowing yourself to slow down. And for me, that is grounding myself as well. Grounding myself by actually, one of the techniques of grounding would be putting your feet on the floor and feeling the floor, like you can push into the floor with your feet. with your toes, with the ball of your foot, with the whole of your foot. One of the lecturers in psychotherapy and counseling degree told us about this technique. It's like when you're working with clients and if you sort of need to, ground yourself, no harm of like trying to do this. Hi, everyone who is joining. Hello, hello, and you're very welcome to my channel. I am Diamante, the psychotherapist who studied psychotherapy and counseling and is fully qualified. Let me repeat myself, psychotherapist and counseling, and who is creating podcast and working hard on creating the thumbnails, descriptions, titles of the videos, live streams, pre-filmed videos, really. So you know what, sometimes I keep saying sometimes. I could learn a few extra words or replace this sometimes by often or sometimes. Sometimes na 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 Here we go. The inner child is saying hi. Inner child we carry within ourselves. And you know, when you want certain food, like the food from your childhood, food that makes sense to you, it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, the combinations that remind you of old good times, or when you were literally like a dependent, when you were looked after, and I hope you were looked after. This is when your inner child is sort of, reminding you of that smaller, younger version of yourself when the world looks so exciting, mysterious, scary in some ways, when our whole world was around what will our caregivers will say, will do. And that's why it is like so important to have the caregivers, your parents, guardians, who care for you and who do everything in their power to look after you in their best, absolute best manner, right? Childhoods were different. Like everyone had maybe similar childhood in some ways and maybe very different in other ways. Like the financial stability is huge. People who are coming from the households of very like unstable houses. It could be emotional instability, financial, it could be both. There could be, addiction and abuse. Mm, it is tough. People do carry that through their life, People do carry that trauma. It does affect their self esteem. And some people seem to be, you know, capable to like shake it off. Not that they forget about it, because you don't forget about things like that. You don't forget about abuse. You don't forget about being mistreated. You don't forget about it. You just like make a agreement with yourself that for you, or in order to be where you want to be, such as just to be able to pretty much go through life, you have to learn how to kind of make your peace with it. And, if people are, if people did you wrong and it was like an offense to do what they did, just forgetting about it, no, like you have to take actions for your own self, and also because that person is like a perpetrator. That perpetrator is still walking around and can be hurting other people. So, you know, hmm today we started this live stream with chat about how are you keeping. We moved on and talked a bit about childhood. We talked about the inner child. What's on your mind today? What is that kind of, you're living and breathing today? What's on your mind? Are people maybe trying to solve some sort of mm, question they have for themselves? Maybe you are a bit of a dilemma and you're thinking, what do I do? I don't know. I feel a bit stuck. Feeling stuck is so natural, but yet we don't tend to want, most people don't want for their family or friends to know about, I guess, their struggles. I guess their, I don't know, some sort of like happenings in their lives. Some people are very open about their life and they are sharing explicitly about it, and some others are, maybe they have some trust issues, that they were like betrayed by other people, or maybe something was very discreet and they were asked, or they asked for others not to share that, and it was shared. you know there's a lot of different things, and I guess that when somebody's sharing something with us, now I'm speaking as a person, not quite a psychotherapist right this moment, because with psychotherapy, everything you speak in the therapeutic space is confidential. There are limits to confidentiality, though. And when you're contracting with a psychotherapist, you will be explained those limits of confidentiality. So there are some limitations as well, right? Let me know in the comments if you would like me to stay for a bit longer, or you don't mind if I start packing my bags and finishing up. What I'm saying is that I would really like for people to start maybe saying a few things in the comments, something that's on their mind, so that the chat, it could be a bit more of a dialogue. It would be much more of an interactive chat, interactive time spent together. To anyone who is starting their venture of any kind, maybe changing job, or maybe you're in a new relationship, maybe you just bought, I don't know, some sort of something, right? Something new, something for your hobby, or you're starting something off. I want to wish everyone all the best in that new chapter in their lives, in that new venture. Maybe something very small, or maybe it's something quite comprehensive, and it will take you maybe months and many, many days to get things up and running and sorted. But when we're starting off something new, it's like you may be an expert in some different area, but this area you're just very new at. So you feel all of a sudden like this spring chicken. I talked about that feeling in my other episode of this podcast. So feel free to go to the playlist called The Podcast, and you'll be able to see other episodes. But my chapter now, I guess, is to be consistent when it comes to the podcast, when it comes to me sharing live streams. And you'd be surprised or not so surprised because you're also human and you know that the minute you have to be consistent with something, it's like you don't want to do it anymore. It's like you want to go out, you want to be walking, you want to be doing everything but that. The minute things starting to feel like a job, like work, like a commitment, people are kind of like are rethinking, do I really want this? And then there is another part of it. The part is that the results are not showing immediately. It's very rare that your results will show immediately. So the motivation is low when the results are not showing. You're thinking about it, you're becoming a little bit, you know, mm-hmm. What do you think about it? Howdy ho, howdy ho. I feel like my mind is doing something to me right now to almost like cheer myself up. Our body and mind, it's a very complex organism. Why do you feel certain way? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? I don't know. Why did I do this? I'm so sorry. The human mind is just something else. It's like so many people would be saying this like, you have a day off. You said you'll do absolutely nothing. And here you go. You find yourself working. Sometimes it's not a bad thing. And again, I'm saying sometimes. I want somebody to count how many times I said sometimes during this live stream. And if you will, you're getting brownie points for sure. I will save this video afterwards as well. Human mind. No wonder we have, professions such as psychotherapy, psychotherapist, who is really there for you to listen to you, to maybe give you some interventions, to be there for you. Is there anyone else who is a psychologist or psychotherapist? Let me know. Also, it would be cool to do a live stream together sometime, a podcast. So let me know that in the comments now or after I save the video. Hi everyone, I see more and more people are joining. I cannot make you speak, I cannot make you comment, but if you would like, let me know how are you keeping today. Where are you logging in from? I am from Lithuania, but I'm logging in from Dublin, Ireland. I am a psychotherapist and counselor who is based over here. And my words to you today as a person, as a psychotherapist, is if every day you're getting closer where you want to be, it could be to do with your job, could be to do with your health, well-being, whatever that is, right? If you feel like there is a progression, I think it's very healthy. If you feel that you sort of go at your full speed and then just burn out and stop and like that's it, not you. It means that something is not quite balanced out. And I think that it would be very interesting to know whose life is actually balanced out so perfectly because mine isn't. I I often overwork myself, I must say. It also depends to your brain structure. It depends to your brain structure. How is your brain like? Yeah. Hmm. Hi everyone. If you've ever been to psychotherapy and counseling sessions or have been seeing psychologists, you know that after some sessions you may feel like kind of down, not kind of down. If we're going through traumatic memories, like you are pretty much feeling re traumatized. Hi, Maros. Maros is from Bucharest. I remember you from previous live stream, and I'm being told, hello, I'm glad to see you online again. Thumbs up from me. Great to see people coming back. Updates are that now I've uploaded new episode of my podcast. There is a playlist called the podcast and people can go there and take a look into the other episodes as well as this one will be saved afterwards there too. So, today Ireland, I could speak about Dublin is sunny, warm. And what about yourself, Miros? What's the weather like in Bucharest today? Great to see people coming back. I think you almost can feel that my energy shifted. I became more like lively. There was like an energy rush. So it feels good. It would be great for people to hit that subscribe button to see me in my future live streams and future videos. You know what I've noticed from 2020 since I created my YouTube channel? So, like around the summertime, 2026 now, 2026 meaning this year, my channel will become 6 years old. Even at that point, almost 6 years ago when I created my channel, it felt like I wanted to do this for already 10 years. And it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to say that I thought, oh, is it too late? It's never too late. I never had a mentality that something is too late or you shouldn't. Mentality that I have is go for it. That's why the name of this channel is Go For It. And bees are flying around. I started seeing more bees about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So the nature is awakening. The springtime is here. And not long from now, the summer will be also here. And also my 6 years on YouTube, working full time, studying part time, running the YouTube channel. for a few years my YouTube was like without any much of a new uploads from me really. But was after I finished college, after I finished psychotherapy and counseling degree, I got back to my YouTube channel. So there we go. Hi everyone, I'm being asked, am I AI? No, I am not. My name is Diamante. I am a person. Yeah. Psychotherapist and counselor. I had to study to become psychotherapist and counselor to now be a fully qualified mental health professional. So I talked about the weather a little while ago, and we have a reply in the comments. Thank you for commenting. I love when people are engaging, so feel free to put down some thoughts in the comments. Some thoughts meaning the thoughts to the point. I have just been asked what is my favorite food. Let's talk a little bit more about the human mind, behavior, relationships, right? So, another person is saying, for me, every day is beautiful and sunny, and I enjoy every day because life is very beautiful. That's good. That's good. So, when you're saying that life is very beautiful, right? What is beautiful about life? We have another hello. There is a hello from Wales. Hi there. Hello from Dublin, Ireland. Everyone, you're very welcome to my channel. Today I have two videos and a live stream. I'm sorry. Is live getting better? Yes, it's getting better here on my channel because my channel is becoming more active because I'm uploading more. So one video is about psychotherapy and counseling. It is the video that is kind of a little bit about my own self, really. It's me then versus now, like my own self-analysis for myself 5 years ago versus now, and that came out today, so feel free to have a look. It's on the playlist called podcast, and that's the name on the thumbnail, then versus now. And another video is about to come out later on today, and that's a happy Saturday. It's grocery haul in Dublin, Ireland, to show you the cost of living right here in the capital of Ireland. Everybody is very welcome here, and this is like a space that we're creating. So space that we're creating is, in Lithuanian we say kaip pasiklosi, taip išmiegosi. How you will make your bed, that's how you will sleep. So we're building together. We want to create a lovely community over here on my channel. Nice atmosphere during the live streams. So everybody's contributing, and thank you so much for your contributions. Now, when do you think live streams have started? Like in general, even like on YouTube. When do you think they kicked off? Like what year? Also, a question aside from psychotherapy related topics would be, do you have any pets? And now we can relate it back to the human mind, feelings, emotions, how your pets make you feel, or pets in general. Let me know in the comments. Do you think there will be time when we will be like hundreds of people or thousands of people on the live stream? Give us some heart emojis. Woohoo! So somebody on this chat asked me, "Are you AI?" I wonder if someone was an AI generated image. Well, image is one thing, right? But like, would an AI, what would an AI say? Are they an AI or? Hmm. I also have something else coming up on my channel. I haven't yet started doing it, but I now know how it can be done, like reaction videos. So there is a lot still to create. There is a lot of bright future ahead, and I'm excited to be doing all these new things to me. I'm not very excited that I don't have any water anymore, which I will go and replenish, and I will come back in a moment. If people want some insights from me to what you could do while I'm away, is feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, right? About what's happening to you today, how are you feeling, and I'll be able to talk about it when I am back. So stay tuned and I'll see you in a V moment. Hello, howdy ho, how is everyone? How is everyone doing? Thanks for waiting. We're together for 46 minutes, and I will be somewhat finishing up. Not just finished yet, but I will be finished up soon. Hi, everyone. How many times did I say hi during this live stream? Probably many. Thanks for saying hi to me as well. And thanks for also subscribing and becoming a part of my channel. To those who have longer hair, what do you like more for yourself? When your hair is up or when your hair is down? And why? Imagine if I stayed live streaming for like hours on end, forever basically. Wow, wonder. You know what? I remember years ago, there used to be these challenges, like challenge videos on YouTube, where it's like people are pulling an all-nighter, so like not sleeping the whole night and things like that. Interesting. I wonder, are they still posting something like that? Do you mind elaborating on that last comment, please? What qualities in a psychotherapist do you look for? I'm just messing. A reminder to everyone that we all start somewhere. We all are similar yet different. The empathy, either you're a therapist or in any other profession, the empathy is an absolute must. Um, but if you're at the point in your life where you're starting off, and that's something that also came up during this stream, either you are a new parent, first time mother or dad, either you're starting off in your career, or maybe you've worked in a job for decades, years, and now you decided to change, to do something that you always wanted to do. And you know that kind of aspect, like when you really want to do something, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy to do that. The only thing here is that you're actually wanting to do it, but it's not saying that it's gonna be easy to get where you want to get. When you are, for example, working for a corporate job, right? There is a structure already when you're coming in. Most times, there is a structure. There is at least, you know, usually there are formed departments and teams all the time. There are, maybe there is a team that is new, or they're bringing up some sort of changes in the department, or creating a new team, so you may need to be the part of helping figure things out and find solutions and stuff like that. But yeah, when you're doing the self-employment, for example, self-employed psychotherapist and counselor, you have to create your path from ground up, you know. And there will be always people who are sort of like brave behind their screens or brave in the comments, but what do they have to show for what are they actually doing in life, you know? Everybody is going at their own speed, doing their own thing. making the mistakes, having errors, learning from their mistakes, building things bit by bit. But yeah, speaking of jobs, when you were self employed, there was a lot of like responsibilities, and a lot of times there is very little reward. Responsibilities all the way up to the ceiling. Reward purely depending on how much you've put into your work, you know? So yeah. With corporate world, there is, usually set annual salary that you receive. You have to work well, you have to do the good job, but like you will get the salary at the end of the month. With self-employment, you're really testing yourself. So let me see something here. Let me just do this and do this and do this. Woohoo! Great. And so, how fast an hour passed by. An hour together, recording of this live stream, this episode of my podcast, you'll be able to see in the podcast playlist in my channel. To everyone, I want to wish to have a good day ahead. I want to really remind you that doesn't have a look at the perspective, right? Have a look a little bit into the future here. If you are feeling unwell today, if the day seems to be maybe very slow or actually full of work, full of tasks, full of duties, right? Greetings to everyone. Greetings and regards. Always remember that there are people who are miles ahead of you, but there are also people who are just at the exact point where you are. There are people who haven't even started doing what they really want to do. So, not comparing yourself with other people is always helpful. Being frank and honest with yourself is very helpful. Putting some people in the timeout is also crucial at times. So, look after yourself. Give yourself time, be patient, build one brick at a time, give yourself those breaks. And what I mean by breaks, even just to have, your meal, your lunch, breakfast, dinner, snack. Make your inner child happy before you make your inner child proud. Be there for yourself. A lot of times, nobody's gonna be there for you. Nobody's gonna be there for you. You know, there will be a lot of times where people will be there to help and they'll be willing to give you their time and space and energy. How you feel today doesn't determine how you'll feel tomorrow or where will you get in your life. One day at a time, slow and steady. That's what I'm saying to myself. On this note, Look after yourselves. Shine bright. And I'll be seeing you very soon.